Hey, what's up? Marty Schwartz here. I'm going to teach you how I first learned to tune a guitar. With tuning, it's all about developing your ear and hearing the notes. But I'm going to explain the concept behind it, and you can always go back to this video when you're trying to tune your guitar, because when you tune a guitar, you need a starting point that's the right note already. So if your whole guitar's out of tune, you need some reference point, you need to hear another note from another instrument that's in tune. So this first note is an E. So what you would do is take your guitar that you have and maybe lower it and try and hear, bring it up till it matches. And if you have problems with that, always lower it back down and always try and bring the note up to it. I find with my ear that it was easier to bring it up, and if I went too far, if the note was higher, lower it below the natural note and keep trying that. It's a really good exercise. Another thing I think you should know is start to memorize what these notes are of the string, because let's have a little saying. I learned this actually from my friends over at Next Level Guitar. Tim Gilbert taught me this, because I just kind of memorized them when I was younger. But we have E, A, D, G, B, and E. And the saying that we have is Eddie ate dynamite. E, A, D. Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. So Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye, Eddie. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. So we want to know that, especially with a tuner, if you're using an electric tuner. But I'm going to teach you how to develop your ear and do it that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to just assume that our low E, Eddie, is in tune already. We just have to assume that it's in tune. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to detune all my other strings. Just randomly. Okay? But I know that I have a starting point. And if you don't have a starting point to start with, you can at least tune all your strings and have it, the chords sound harmonious together. So here's what we're going to do. This is an E, and this next string, Eddie 8, is supposed to be an A. So if I climbed up the notes of the guitar, which I'm not teaching right now, but E, F, G, A. That's an A note on the E string. And this string's supposed to be an A note. So if I play the A note on the E string, then the next string should have that same sound. But it doesn't right now because it's out of tune. It needs to go up. So like I said, it needs to go up. So I'm going to tune it up. And I'm going to keep going back to my reference note like this. I just went too far. I did it on purpose because that's what I see students do a lot. Oh, it still doesn't sound right. So I'm going to lower it below. We'll keep going back to the note that it needs to sound like. Like I said, it's not going to happen to you. You're not going to master it overnight. Some people do that have just that natural ear, but for me it took a while. So once I feel like I'm pretty close, maybe I'll put my first finger on the second fret of the A string and play like an E power chord, just to hear if it sounds like a chord. Okay, so a little more adjusting. Alright, that sounds pretty good. Okay, we're going to just do the same thing on the next two strings. I'm going to put my first finger on the 5th fret of the A string, hit that, which is now a D note on the A string, and it should match up with the D string open. It's not even close because it's out of tune. Okay, these two are in tune. See that? I just used my ear and I could bring it up, but it takes years, for me it took years, but let me lower it again, the D string right there, and I'm going to just bring it up again. Now maybe I'll play like the first 3 notes of an E minor chord. Or the first 3 notes of a G chord. See what I mean? Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing on the next string. So we went... So it's not in tune again, same thing. So I'm going to take what's the G string tuner right here and bring the pitch up a little bit at a time. So now I think I've got it. So now I could play like the first 4 notes of a G chord. That's pretty close. Ooh, bad. So here's the weird thing. We went 5th fret, you know, on that to get that. Like that. And then we went 5th fret on that to tune that. Then once that was in tune, we did 5th fret of this to get this. You know? But now we have to go 4th fret on the G string to get the open B string. Because the B string's tuned a half step different than the relationship of the other strings. So we've got... So it's totally out of tune. So now I'm going to just do that same technique, but with my finger on the 4th fret instead of the 5th fret. So let's say I overshot it. Now it's too high. I'm going to just lower it again. Below what I think is natural. Once I get into the higher range of the strings, I start to play like a D chord. Always play chords when you're tuning. I think that's the best way. You know, and then adjust to chord, you know, hear if the chord's in tune. Okay, so we just went 5th fret, open, 5th fret, open, 5th fret, open, 4th fret, open, and now we're back at the 5th fret again. So everything's the 5th fret except for when you put your finger on the G string. So first finger right here. And so both of these are E, the lowest string and the highest string. So those should, you know, sound like they're the same note, octaves apart, but the same note. So then you just start playing chords. So it sounds pretty good. That's a starting point. The other thing I'm going to do is have a separate video where all I do is play the strings of my guitar that are perfectly in tune, and then you can just sit there and just keep adjusting to train your ear. So basically be an ear training, tuning video where, you know, it's just me playing the notes of the guitar. Alright? So stick around and we'll do that too.